Make co-host. Yes. Make co-host. Yes. And make co-host. Yes. I have admittedly not uploaded many videos for the past few weeks. I got to do that sometime. Okay. So let me share the screens that I need. Gotta close these. Bam. And share screen. Okay. Like this. All right. So basically, like I said, you have your website, right? And then usually if you wanted to ask your the server for like updates, for example, if you're making a chat app, right? And you want to receive new messages as they come in, then one easy approach you could do this would be like asking the server every 5 seconds, hey, are there any new messages? And then the server responds yes or no, and sends some new messages on your way. But obviously, if you don't receive any messages for like 10 minutes, then it's kind of a waste to ask every 5 seconds. And multiply that with like the amount of people that are connected to your application, it's going to get quite big. So the better approach to do this would be to use WebSockets, which are basically like a pipe between your app, the website you're on, and the server that hosts the website. So you have a direct connection, and then you can send data to them, to the server directly, and then the server can respond back with data as well. So yeah, we're going to be setting up a super basic WebSocket app today. I'm not quite sure what we want to make. We could go with the chat app as a demo, so I might do that, yeah. Okay, so you'll open up your code environment, whatever you use. I use VS Code. And I also have the documentation for WebSockets up here. You don't have to have this because I'm gonna use it to code it, so you guys can just follow along. All right, let me zoom in so it's easier to see. And first of all, I'm going to activate my WSL because that's my coding environment. Boop. Oh, there's me. Hello. All right, so now we have an empty editor. Is your WSL arch, by the way? My WSL zoom in too. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to make a project. So I'm going to go into my project folder and create a project. So let's call it mkdir. Again, just makes a directory. So I'm going to call it WS demo, WS for WebSocket. All right, so let's go into WS demo. Actually, code WS demo because I'm lazy. All right, so now we have an empty project. And first of all, we want to make this a repository because why not? We want to put this on our GitHub pages to get stars, am I right? So git init. All right, and we're good to go. So the first thing you want to do after having your empty project set up is you have to initialize your JavaScript project. So if you remember correct, you just type npm init to initialize your project. And Ronak is typing right now furiously saying I should use pnpm or yarn. Yep. All right, so you just press enter. You don't have to read any of this. And yeah, you're good to go. And now you should have a package.json file in your directory. Now, where did I put faces? Huh. Maybe right here. Okay, so now that we have that, we want to make our first JavaScript file, our index.js. So I'm just going to call it index.js. And all right, we have our index.js now. It's just empty, right? So what we got to do is, how do you know? Yeah, because you say the same thing every time. So now we want to create a basic server. And first semester, I think I walked through how to make a super basic server in Express. Basically, it's a super simple library for tiny servers. And yeah, we're going to be using Express in conjunction with Express WS to get our WebSocket server. So first, let's install Express. So first of all, npm i -- save. I don't think you actually need -- save, so I want to omit it. So npm I stands for install. So npm space I express. And then I also want express -ws. And because this is npm, it's going to take a bit. Oh, never mind, not that slow. Okay, so now we gotta import our express and express WS. So first, const express equals require, and then express, and then const app equals express, and then const express. I'm basically copying what's on the left side of my screen, but const express WS equals require express -ws. So now we have all the libraries imported, and I forgot I don't have ESLint yet, so that's fine. All right, and the easiest example they show here says express router.dbs, whatever. Yeah, so the example below here, they say, okay, so you can combine your GET request pages. If you remember, there's like GET requests and POST requests. So you can combine GET request addresses. So like if you submit a GET request to /, it'll return this. And then if you do a WebSocket request to /, it'll connect you to a WebSocket. So first of all, let's set up our default page. App.get /. So that's our default localhost page. And let's do request, response, and next. I guess we don't need next actually. And then this function should return a response. So let's say res. Oh, I'm on 4-space mode. Let's turn it to 2 spaces. Okay. So res.send. Let's send a nice text like a hello world. And then we want to make this app listen on port, let's say 8000. All right. And now to run this, you just type node and then your file name. So node index.js for me. And it should just say nothing. But now your server should be running on localhost port 8000. So let's actually I'm going to make it console.log the address so we can easily open it. So console.log listening on port actually HTTP localhost 8000. All right, so let's run it again. All right, now we can just click it and it opens and it says hello world. Perfect. So we have a super basic site set up. And now we want to get to our WebSocket thing. So back here, this app.ws, very similar to app.get, right? So we just do app.ws / and then ws and request. Now in here, it says ws.onMessage. So when the socket receives the message, you can let's console.log it. So what this will do is when the server receives a message from the user, it'll put it in the console. Super simple. And let's just restart the server. So this runs. Oh, something happened. App.ws is not a function. All right, what did I do wrong? .ws. What did I do wrong? Boop, boop, boop. Oh, whoops, I forgot to express WS and then make it use app as a parameter. So I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see a bit better and run it again. So now it's listening. If I go here and reload the page, nothing changes because it's just listening on a new thing on the server. All right, so that's working. And now that we have a super basic server with WebSocket on it, we can connect to the WebSocket through the browser. Let's try that first in the console over here. So to connect to a WebSocket, you do new WebSocket and then the address. So our address is ws:/localhost:8000/, right? And there's no errors, so that means it connected. So let's set this to a variable first of all. Const socket equals, yeah, okay, socket dot, and then now there's like stuff like on message and send, right? So let's try sending something. Socket dot send hello, and there we go. So when you send something from the socket in the browser, it shows up on the server, and this works like no matter how far you are. So it doesn't have to be localhost. If I set up this WebSocket server on a actual server, then any of you can send a message and it'll come up in the console. So let's try another message. Hello there, hello world. There we go. So super easy. You just set your socket to a WebSocket connection, and then as long as your internet is connected, it'll keep you connected. All right, so we have that out of the way. Let's do a really simple chat application without saving messages or worrying about any of that. All right. Let's say, what shall we do? Let's do let messages. Let's just make it an array because I'm lazy. Right. So we have a messages array, and then when we receive a message from the user, we want to add it to the array. But let's say we want the user to send their name and the message. So let's do that in JSON format. First of all, so the format we're going to be sending it is going to be like socket.send and then JSON.stringify, because WebSocket only supports strings and strings, so you have to convert our JSON to string. So let's stringify this this thing. Call it name Kento, for example, and then message hello world, like that, and it shows up here. But what we want is we want the actual name and message, so we got to parse the JSON. So const data equals JSON.parse, and then oh whoops, I forgot that. Okay, that's the syntax. So I'm gonna go for it again. So here it's just a callback function, right? Right now we're making it log to the console. Instead, let's make it parse the JSON. So data equals JSON.parse data, and that way now it's in JSON format. So when we log the data, let's restart this thing and rerun this thing. Oh, something happened. WebSocket is already closing or closed. Okay, so because I restarted the server, the WebSocket closed. Let's open the WebSocket again. Const WebSocket equals yeah, and socket. There we go. So now it's in actual JSON, as you can see by like the green strings. All right. So once we have this, all we got to do is add this to the message array. So messages.push data, and yeah. Okay. So now that we have that, we want to send the data to everyone that's connected. So if you have multiple people with the chat open, right, we want all of them to see the messages. So now we're gonna have to store everyone's WebSockets in an array. So sockets equals, I'm just gonna have an array. Usually you would want to do something better, but this is a super simple app, so it doesn't matter. So when a new socket opens, sockets.push ws. And then, oh, we actually don't need this messages array. All you got to do is send it to everyone. So you have this sockets array. So this is an array of like a list of people that are connected to your app. And so all you got to do is sockets.for each socket. I keep forgetting I don't have ESLint. Then you socket.send the data. Okay. And so again, basically what this is doing is when someone connects to Slash as a WebSocket connection, it listens for messages, and then when there's a new message that the user wants to send, it goes through the entire list of users that are in the chat and sends them that data. So now let's work on the front end bit a little. It's going to be really simple, but copy that const socket thing. I'm just gonna make a script tag here because I'm lazy. Script. All right, and then let's just initialize the socket right here, and restart the server. All right, so now we have socket automatically set. Let's try sending something. So socket.send, stringify, whatever this is. Yeah. Oh, it crashed. Something went wrong. Let's see what went wrong. The first argument must be of type string, or well, blah blah blah. I see. I need to send it as a string, so we actually don't need to parse any of this. Right, node index.js. Let's try again. Oh, gotta reload. All right, so nothing happened, meaning that it worked. So basically what it's doing is browser sends the data to the server. Server sends goes through the list of sockets, and then so because this user is connected, it sends that message data back to this user. And what we got to do is now we got to show the messages that it's received. So let's say this is super lazy. This is not advisable if you're actually making an app, but let's just have a messages div, and then socket.onMessage equals data, and then in here const element equals document.create element, div, and then lm.text content equals data, and then document.query selector hashtag messages, which is this thing up here, dot append child, and then the element. And what that will do is when it receives a message from the server, it'll show it in the browser. I think I did that correct. Let's check. So reload. Bam. See, oh, but object message event. Okay, I think I need to do data.data or something. Gotta check. I'm not sure. All right, let's reload. Aha, there we go. So now we have the message data here. And what we actually want to do is like say Kento said something, or like Kento : the message I wrote. So let's try to do that. Text content equals data.data. First of all, we want to parse the data. So data equals JSON.parse data.data. Okay, now data is an object. Let's do data.data, data.name, and then a colon, and then the message. Let's reload this, reload the page, run the thing again. So now it says Kento hello world whenever I send a message, like that. And the cool part about this is if I open another incognito tab or something, right? So simulating another user, and I send a message, it shows up for them too. So this is basically how a super simple chat app works. And right now let's make an input box so you can actually send messages. This is not very good practice, but let's just create an input. Slash, actually, that's enough. And then let's just make a button as well. OnClick equals send message, send / button. And then what this will do is when the button is clicked, it'll run send message. So we got to define send message. Function send message. And then paste the send socket send thing. So socket.send. Just stringify name. Oh, we got to have our name as well. So let's do ID equals name. And then ID equals message here. Placeholder equals, let's use this as the placeholder. Like that. And for the name, you want to use the name that the person entered. So document.query selector hashtag name dot value, and the same for the message. Message. All right. In theory, this would work, but it always works in theory. It always works in theory. So all right, Kento message test. Let's try sending this. Ooh, okay, it did work the first time. Okay, so now you can see, like, when I press send, it shows up here. And if I go to another incognito tab, right? And there's the same stuff. If I send something here, so Kento hello world send. Oh, something happened. What happened? Oh, I see. What happened is that the WebSocket was closed, but I tried to send a thing to that socket. So let's try here. Let's actually detect errors and remove it when there's such an error. Actually, never mind. I'm too lazy. I'm not gonna bother with that. Just restart the server. Restart this page. Oh, whoops! I gotta reset the server. Reload the page. And now when I enter my name and a message, hello. There we go. So you can see that on this other page, it's also updating almost instantaneously, like that. And if I change the content I'm sending, Ronak, same pack is the best. But what do we even call same pack bundler? I guess. There we go. So yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of flaws with this super. Oh, what the heck? Anyways, there's a lot of flaws with this. For example, there's no authentication, so you don't know who's sending what. There's also a problem where, like, if you get disconnected, the entire server just crashes. So for example, let's just close this tab, right? And then try sending something from here. This is going to crash the server because I didn't remove sockets that were dead. So what I actually have to do is remove the socket in the list if it's disconnected. But I'm too lazy to implement and that, so you can do that on your own if you want. So CPAC is the best bundler. Okay, I agree, of course, right? But then now the server crashes because it dies. Yeah. Anyways, as you can see, basically WebSocket is a way to have your website send stuff instantaneously, and then your server also sends stuff back to clients instantaneously. So this is better than asking the server for messages periodically, because that's just a waste of bandwidth. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Any questions? Let me open the chat. Chat. There. Where is my chat? I can't see it. Hello? Oh, there it is. Okay. Make sure to add node modules to get ignore. Oh, yes. 366 new files. All right. You're right. Get ignore. Oh, no, wait. My screen has stuck pixels, I think. Oh no, my screen has stuck pixels. No, okay. You guys can't see it, but there's like 2 small dots right here on my screen and it's not moving away. That's unfortunate. Anyways, node modules, and there we go. So now we only have 4 files. If you want to save your progress and want to try working on more parts of this as like an exercise, you should definitely save it to your GitHub. So I'm going to do that. I'm probably not ever going to touch this again, but it's worth demoing. So let's create a new repository, make it a public web dev ws demo under web dev. WS demo thingy. All right, let's make this public and boom. Now just copy this URL, copy, and then all you got to do, if you remember, is git remote set origin. Oh, I set URL. I see. Git remote set URL origin, paste. No such remote origin. All right, what is oh, git remote add. I see. Git remote add origin. There we go. So now git push, it'll be like, okay, run this command. So I'm just going to copy that. Oh, whoops. Again, git remote add origin, and then the URL you just copied. And after that, you type git push, and it's like, oh, you got to run this thing before that. So you just copy it, and you run it. Oh, failed to authenticate. Ah, I see. Because there's no such branch on the remote. Let's see, what can we do here? Does not match any. You know what? Git add dot, and then I'm going to commit from VS Code because it's easier. Initial commit. Bam. And let's push from here. I don't know what magic VS Code does, but it pushes for me. So there we go. Yeah. So I'll link you guys to this repository in case you want to see the code and work on it later. I'll put it in the chat. Where my chat just disappeared again. Where did my chat go? Oh, there it is. There you go. So if you want to check that out, you go ahead. And that's pretty much it. Let me end the screen share and someone send the sign-in link. Isn't that SSH? Yeah, it was. Whoa there, Kento. What's kind of transition Kento cluster? It's almost as if the project that Ronak is talking about uses WebSockets as well. If you wanna, I can actually talk about it a little bit. All right, code is WebSocket. Yeah, thanks, Sangman. So WebSocket is useful for a lot of things. Ronak and I are making this thing where it pretty much archives the YouTube live chat in a way. But what we need for that is we need containers, or we're doing it on multiple computers, right? So we need each computer to send messages when it receives or when it sees them in the chat, and send it to like a central server that we have. So what we do is we have a WebSocket connection between the central server and each of our machines. And what our machines do is it sends the data over to the central server on every message. And then the central server also sends back like status information back to the containers. So yeah. All right, bye everyone. Thanks for coming.